You said.
Whoopi, you know
you
what's
said.
horrible?
You talk about. You talk about.
I am not, Judge.
Nobody
no,
is.
oh, yeah.
Did you just point at me?
Yeah.
The debates on The View are known for getting heated, but what happened between Whoopi Goldberg and Judge Jeanine Pirro was something else. This wasn't just a strong disagreement. It turned into a full-on clash of personalities and politics, with lots of interruptions, accusations, and even drama behind the scenes. Viewers were shocked, and the incident made big headlines. But what sparked such an explosive moment? Why did Whoopi lose her cool so publicly? And what does this say about the current state of political debates? It all started like any other episode of The View. Judge Jeanine Pirro, a former prosecutor, TV personality, and author, was on the show to promote her new book, Liars, Leakers, and Liberals, which criticizes anti-Trump groups for spreading false information. At first, the conversation was calm, with the hosts politely asking Pirro about her career and views on the changing political landscape. But The View doesn't stay friendly for long. The mood quickly changed when the conversation
Stopped and put a finger in my face and yelled, "I've done more for victims than you ever will." Then I said to her some few choice words I cannot repeat.
shifted to President Trump, a topic that always sparks strong opinions. Host Sunny Hostin took charge, asking direct and tough questions. "Have you ever lobbied for a position in Trump's administration?" she asked, her gaze intense. Judge Jeanine Pirro stayed calm and responded with a well-prepared answer. The questioning continued to get more intense as Hostin
You want to talk about Donald Trump? You tell me what metric in this country is worse off.
pressed on, bringing up rumors and social media gossip. "So, you were on the shortlist for a Supreme Court nomination, weren't you?" she asked. Judge Jeanine Pirro dismissed the rumors with a smile, saying, "Fake news." As the exchange
You know what's horrible? When the president of the United States whips up people to beat the hell out of people.
went on, the tension in the studio grew thicker. The debate became intense, with Hostin pressing harder and Pirro skillfully deflecting. Then, Whoopi Goldberg stepped in. Her frustration was clear. "You talk about lawbreakers facing consequences," she said, her voice calm but growing stronger. "But what about the consequences for this administration's actions?" Pirro, unshaken, quickly responded, "Accountability goes both ways."
Take back from this meeting is the fact that Russia and the United States have more nuclear power than the rest of the world. It's important, and I think it was Abraham Lincoln who said, the way,
Pirro declared, "Whoopi, I've dedicated my career to fighting for justice, whether as a prosecutor or a judge. What we need now is truth, not spin." Then, Pirro said something that sparked the tension even more: Trump derangement syndrome. It was like lighting a match in a room full of gasoline. Whoopi's face tightened, and her tone became sharper. "I don't suffer from that," she said. "What I suffer from is watching this country grow more divided every single day." The argument spiraled out of control. Voices overlapped, accusations were thrown, and the tension reached its peak. Then came the moment no one saw coming. Whoopi ripped off her mic, slammed her cue cards onto the desk, and stormed off the set. The audience was shocked, and the co-hosts were left speechless. But the drama didn't end there. According to Judge Pirro, the real explosion happened backstage. What followed behind the scenes was something Pirro described as an encounter unlike anything in her long career. Having been a prosecutor, judge, and district attorney for over 3 decades, Pirro was no stranger to heated confrontations. She had faced dangerous criminals and seen the worst of humanity, but nothing could have prepared
PDP under Obama was barely 1. We're going up to 4.
her for what happened backstage after her appearance on The View. The tension from the heated exchange didn't stay on stage. It spilled over into the backstage area, leading to a confrontation that would shock anyone. Jeanine Pirro had expected a lively discussion, not an all-out verbal war. The View team had invited her to promote her new book, Liars, Leakers, and Liberals, the case against the anti-Trump conspiracy. At first, it seemed like a great chance to connect with a wider audience.
I want to answer your question because you had
you a question.
You had your opening statement.
The initial moments on set were almost deceptively calm. In the first segment, Judge Jeanine Pirro was even optimistic, calling for dialogue in today's politically charged climate. "We need to talk, especially with people we don't see eye to eye with," she said, trying to find common ground. But the tension quickly started to build, reaching a boiling point in the second segment. Where things became unrestrained, Whoopi Goldberg's attitude shifted noticeably as the conversation turned political. The signs were subtle at first, a dismissive tone here, a sharp comment there, but they couldn't be ignored. Then, the unexpected happened. The cover of Pirro's book flashed on screen just as Whoopi dramatically ripped off her mic, shoved her chair away, and stormed off the set. Jeanine, still seated, was taken aback but remained composed, trying to make sense of what had just happened. Television professionalism dictated that the show must go on, but Jeanine already knew the episode was over. She removed her microphone and headed backstage. That's when the Real explosion occurred, right at the bottom of the stairs.
And, the first segment was relatively calm. And, I got the transcript. And one of the things I said was, one of the things we need now, we need people to talk to people.
Jeanine recalls trying to extend an olive branch. "Whoopi, I've spent my life fighting for victims. Can't we?"
Who are you?
But before she could finish, Whoopi exploded with fury, shouting. "You came," she yelled, saying it over and over. "Get out of this building." Her voice echoed.
President of the United States whips up people to beat the hell out of people. Say goodbye.
Through the halls. Jeanine, surprised but firm, replied, "Did you just say that to me?" The air was thick with tension. The producers quickly tried to handle the situation, but the damage had already been done. They later apologized to the audience, but oddly, not to Jeanine. For her, it wasn't just an emotional outburst. It felt like abuse and reflected how toxic political conversations have become. She later said, "I've dealt with hardened criminals, but this was something else." She believed shutting people down doesn't help. It only shows how divided we've become. The incident became a symbol of the growing polarization in society. Critics of the show pointed out a pattern of confrontational behavior toward conservative guests, claiming the show invited right-wing figures not for real discussions, but to ambush them. They didn't want a conversation.
I guess I would say to Whoopi, I've always liked you, Whoopi, and I don't understand where the anger comes from. I went to have a conversation, and I wasn't allowed to have a conversation, and I didn't deserve to be thrown out. We can't treat people like that. You just can't.
Jeanine said they wanted a fight. While some might argue that Jeanine's strong defense of President Trump and the content of her book contributed to the tension, the bigger question remained. Was Whoopi's reaction justified, or did the pressure of live TV push her too far? As Jeanine left the building, Whoopi's angry words still echoed behind her, "Get out." It was no longer just an argument. It was a stark reminder of the decline of civility in modern discourse. Jeanine had hoped to promote her book and engage in a challenging but fair conversation, but instead, she found herself at the center of one of the most infamous clashes in daytime television history. So, was this an orchestrated attack, as Jeanine later claimed, or just a misunderstanding that got out of hand? Let us know what you think in the comments. And remember, whether you agree or disagree, conversations like these help us uncover truths and find common ground. This drama is taking some nasty turns.